Welcome back to another live King of the Lifts. I was saying to Karlina, before leading into this World Championships, Ramsey hit me up and was like, I got an idea. Ramsey from White Lights. And I was like, all right, what are you thinking? And he was saying, we don't have live podcasts while we're there at the World Championships. And he's like, other sports have like press conferences, before, etc. And I'm like, man, it is so crazy when we're at Worlds. I don't know if I got time for this kind of thing to organize everything. But if you're in, I'm in. I'll show up. I'll do my thing. He's a media guy, and holy smokes, this is the last one. First off, I'm glad I got you two. You guys had phenomenal chemistry at the podcast we did together, the Queens of the Lifts. But yeah, how freaking, you were saying you're watching some of these. I didn't know what to expect when I came into this makeshift studio. I was like, oh shit, this looks nice. It's a nice setup. Yeah. It's been something else. So every World Championships, everything seems to be leveling up. But yeah, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this Worlds, some of the stuff you guys saw, experienced, and like moving forward. But Amanda, leading into this, how were you feeling prep-wise?
I mean, I felt like I had a little bit better of a prep for Sheffield. This was just a shorter period of time, right, between then and now, right? I don't know, it was like 3 months or something like that. But, you know, I was training closer to body weight. Didn't have to cut this meet, which that was a game changer for me. So, you know, I was expecting to have a good meet still. But life had other plans for me. I caught a pad of fever the night before the meet. So, you know, I didn't think I would have done as well as I did yesterday. I didn't think I would have had a shot at trying for best lifter. But we did it anyways. Well, if it hangs on at least today, we'll see.
Right.
But please be nice to me. It's never been done 3 times. I've been trying since 2022. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. You know, 5-time world champ is not a small thing to do.
It's crazy because just you getting sick, like over the course of half a decade, 5 years, eventually you're gonna have a bad day, you would think.
Yeah.
Like just odds are something will happen to you. It happened to, like Russ like, prep wasn't great, not entirely sure why. Trained hard, went in there, put it all on the line. People are like, were you coasting? He came on the podcast, said I was not.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a great day. It was you know what, we say it wasn't a great day. He lost by 1.5 kilos. And if Jurns did great, he's 1.5 kilos under, he did great too. It just wasn't what he wanted. But you're not always going to get that. So for you to like consistently for all this time never have a bad day, statistically very, 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 very difficult.
Yes.
Very, very odd. 5 years.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, there's been meets where it's been a hard cut or whatnot. Like I'll say that, but I mean, I thought all the stars were aligning this time. But you know, it is what it is. Next time.
Were you the night before ever thinking, oh my gosh, I think I'm vulnerable possibly to even an upset? Was it that bad at certain points?
I didn't think I was going to lose.
That'll never crush.
I mean, it was...
She's like, settle down. Right? I wasn't on my deathbed.
No. But, like, I didn't know if, like, I'd be going for, like, best lifter or whatever. Feeling sick. Yeah, I wasn't going to pull out or anything like that. I just... I mean, I knew it was going to total over 600. I just didn't know how much. But yeah, like I was down bad. Yeah, I woke up at like 82.5 kilos. That's life for me.
Holy smokes, yeah.
So I was like drinking like a liter of apple juice, having breakfast, and like this is kind of nice.
Right. Well.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah. Good and bad, I guess.
Before,
right.
I mean, considering like I've done hard cuts before, so. I don't know, on the flip side.
I mean, just speaking of the hard cuts, because at Sheffield, when you were squatting, you had talked about like not feeling your legs and not feeling that they were there. How was it this time with being so close to weight and doing those squats?
My legs were there,
100%.
Like squats, they felt fine. I just like recently switched to heels though too after Sheffield because my back. So we're still adjusting in this period. I think, you know, with this 8 months off leading into Sheffield, it's gonna. I think they're gonna blow up.
Yeah. How did that? Well, that's interesting. So, what do the heels give you differently?
You know, it's just I've had some disc issues in my low back, so it just helps me because I was having a lot of pain in the hole at the bottom of the squat in flats. So they help me squat pain-free, and they also help with depth, I guess. Yeah, but just in general, when you change anything, it takes time.
100%.
Yeah. But yeah, I think just with more time, right? Longer off season, have more time to build. It's hard to compete 3 months apart and put out your best package. But I mean, we're all in the same boat pretty much, so.
Right. So, yes. So it leads me, Karlina, you were saying, we'll kind of like revisit a little bit what we talked about last time, but speaking about like preps and if things go your way, don't go your way, it seems like you never have the luxury of being quote unquote front runner. Like if your people are picking you, it's always a freaking battle. From the first Sheffield battle of the 76s where it was, multiple ladies, to your first Worlds, second Sheffield, second Worlds, like you never have an easy day in the office. So coming into it, how was the prep for you?
Yeah, no, the last 2 years has just been the constant battle with me, Jess, and Agatha, and with the last year with me and Agatha. And after Sheffield, the prep was going really well. There was these few weeks of prep where I was feeling insanely strong and I was feeling really confident. And by the end of prep, we had felt that, projection-wise, that we could do 620. So thinking that we'd maintain squat, not push that anywhere. Bench was going well, and so we were aiming for 132.5, and then deadlifts were going the best, actually, of prep, and I was feeling really strong with deadlifts and felt that I would be able to have a shot at that world record if I needed to. And so, yeah, we were feeling really positive about it. And so it's been a couple of days since the meet, and I've had a lot of reflection, and I really do feel that we came in feeling good, feeling prepared to fight. Every time I thought about Agatha and I had us both at 620. Like I was just like, we're both coming in at 620. Every time I put the numbers in, and she said the same thing. And then even with the squats, warming up was not terrible. It was a little bit harder than usual. But when I took out that 225, you kind of know as soon as you get it on your back how it feels. And it felt good.
Really?
This feels good.
Wow.
It doesn't feel heavy. I'm stepping out. I'm feeling good. I hear Dom, my coach, and he is saying yes, because he knows what my setup looks like, and it looked solid. And I did not know what was happening until I started grinding, and I was not expecting it to happen at all. And I almost passed out on that second one.
Holy
I was
smokes,
trying
really?
so hard. And when I felt that lightheadedness, I was like, I have to stop because I have more lifts to do.
Yeah, I know.
And so I just thought, something just must have gone wrong. There's no way I'm not getting it on this third one. Try to hype myself up, and I was just like, it's 225. You never miss 225. But I emptied my tank on that second attempt. That took a lot out of me. And then the third just took even more. And it kind of absolutely drained me for the rest of the comp. But I felt pretty numb after it. I think my mind just went into this sort of rescue mode of, okay, we're just going to move on, ignore it. I didn't have any certain feelings. There was some negativity feeling, oh my gosh, what if something happens unexpectedly on my bench? But I was literally telling myself, it's normal to have these thoughts. Just let them pass though. Have them and then move on, acknowledge and move on. And then that really helped.
I mean, just in life, period. Thoughts come, negative thoughts come. Some people talk about positive thinking and whatever. It's realistically speaking, you can't always control what comes into your mind. So exactly like I said, acknowledge, move on. I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my feelings. I got a job to do and I'm going to take care of it. That's why afterwards, we won't skip ahead. I want to talk about both your squats, bench. We'll walk through the days. But when I was saying afterwards, you still showed the heart of a lion where at the end you were scrapping for it wasn't the deads you wanted. It wasn't the day you wanted, but you were like, I am adjusting and I will not break. You know, you fought for that last dead as though you're pulling for the win.
Yeah.
Right? It was, but again, I won't jump ahead too far, but isn't it interesting where, you know, sometimes you see this and it's like, ought they have known off of warm-ups? It's not always like that. Or ought they have known off of the opener, go more cautious for the second? Not always.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did wonder because I knew that the opener felt harder than a normal opener. It's the only squat I've seen. I haven't watched myself back yet. But when I saw that squat, I interpret that as, you know, she's fine. That looks fine for me.
Yeah.
That looks like a tiny sticking point that I get over every single time. And so I understand why my coach went for that 225, because when I would look at it back, I would have done the same thing. So yeah, we were blindsided.
It is sometimes you'll have a minor stick on openers. Person comes back, hits their seconds, like, okay, we're all good. It's no biggie. It's no, especially if the communication for warm-ups or leading in the day is, how do you feel? And it's like, we're all good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. A small sticking point, are we nervous? And to be honest, when you're in a battle like you're in, sometimes you can't back down. It's like, if we don't know, let's load it up and find out. Or we back down now when we might not be able to catch up later. To be totally like, well, if you let Agatha get that spread, it is what it is. So you're like, well, I'm not backing down.
Yeah, and I tend to be that kind of way. I'm like, just go for it.
Well, that's why you're a world champion, right? Right. That's kind of what happens. How about you walking in there for squats? How did you feel the time squats rolled around?
Joey asked me how my opener felt. I'm like, kind of like a brick.
Well, that's not good.
But, you know, it's fine. A lot of the times I watch back the speed of the lift. It was fast. So, you know, we just go off of that, less off of how I feel, more how it looked. I'm always pulling up my phone on Instagram to please, is somebody film this and tag me. There's not great service down there.
There's no service down there.
It's not.
But yeah, so, and you know, honestly, I think my second moved faster than my first because I took out the smelling salts. You know, it just does some type of thing. But yeah, I mean, doesn't matter for me if it's heavy on my back. Just gonna squat it anyways. I don't know.
Right. And like seconds, thirds, is the day going as planned? Did you have to make some adjustments because of the way you felt earlier, weighing in light, sick the day before?
Yeah, I mean, I think we wanted to try for just break the world record by a little bit, so it would have been like 215 and a half, like 3 kilos more than we ended up with. But all things considered, and also just saving for Sheffield, probably worked out for the best. Still hit a big squat.
Well, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Did you go in there thinking, I'm going to save for Sheffield, or is it more looking back, it's fine because it's saved for Sheffield, but you would have, if you didn't get sick, go all out?
Yeah, I mean, no, I wanted to hit 250 and a half. I just like to try to one-up, you know, meet after meet. Life had other plans for me. I was really happy, you know, just ending up with that 247 and a half. Bench showed up. I really like that new pad.
I want to ask you guys about that. So let's get into the bench press. Some of the fellas I talked to were like unsure whether or not they like the new pad. But some of the ladies, you're shocked. Some of the ladies, Megan Scanlon, Chiara Bernardi, Alison Hewitt from France in the 52s, some of these ladies with a pronounced arch whom their bench got mitigated due to the bench rule said that fatter, squishier pad is helping them adjust to the bench rule, Agatha, as well. And they said it actually helped with their new technique.
Yeah.
And they're like, they like it. They think, okay, game on. This is a game changer for them.
My thing is like, because I train on the, you know, original Lico pad every day at my, you know, my setup. It's very, very, very firm pad, and there's not as much back support. That's huge for bench. That's why I like this new one. It's got quite a bit more squish to it, more support. Just feel a lot more power with it. And I mean, it allows you to be able to sink the weight a little bit more, and also keep your hips on the pad better too. So I love it. Helps my shoulder out a lot too. When you have more back support, you can dig in.
How did your bench session go? Like you're pleased with it, but overall, as you look back, did it end up the way you wanted it with all 3 lifts and your placement?
I didn't press 135 in training, so all things considered, I was pretty happy because my shoulder was giving me a lot of heck this prep, like that anterior delt, just really tight. That's why I was really trying to make sure I was warming up for this meet, because that elbow depth on this side just gives me heck. But yeah, I was really happy with it. I think I could have pressed 137.5 yesterday, which I can't say probably ever for a meet
crazy.
with a pause. I've been really chasing that number. I think we're gonna hit that at Sheffield.
Nice.
But
140.
What? Wow.
yeah, we'll aim higher actually.
When I was talking to the fellas in the media team, they were saying during the medal ceremony, they're like, everyone's getting their medals, and for the bench press event, they're like, Amanda didn't look particularly happy getting, not getting a gold in one of the events. I'm like, you got to understand that the type of champion Amanda is, it's got to be clean. All 3 golds. Like I think that was your goal, is all 3 golds for all the events. You don't like to give anything up, anyways. Put it that way.
Yeah, I don't love giving stuff up.
That's right. You don't love it. There you go. There you go.
I lost the bench gold on body weight because we benched the same thing.
There.
But
I like, how competitive you are when you noted that.
Yeah.
It was on body weight. Just saying, I didn't get out bench. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth, Ryan. Right.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the overall is more important.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Coping mechanism right now. I'm fine with it. It's good.
Okay, we'll leave it. That's fair enough.
I don't go into these meets thinking for the individual lifts. I think getting out pulled was a little bit more stung a little bit more than bench.
We'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah.
But yeah, fair enough. So Karlina, going into the bench press, where were you thinking about this? Were you paying attention to the other ladies at all, or were you like, look, I put on the blinders, it wasn't what I wanted, and the day's still going on?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a blinders kind of girl when I compete. And my team, they were all very positive, which was, at first I was like, can we acknowledge that I did really shit in squats first? And then we can move on and be positive about this. So I actually had to just stop and say, that was bad.
Oh, man.
Let's just get it out there, and then we can move on.
There's an elephant in the room that needs addressed, please. Yeah, fair.
But yeah, my coach had said that, with bench, we need it to be able to attack and to stay in the game. And I was feeling extremely exhausted by that time, and I was just so grateful that bench did mostly show up, almost mostly. I have this thing where it's moving really good until it's just not, and I need to learn how to grind that third bench. But I got 130, and last year I grinded 122.5. So I'm pretty proud of that. The bench has come a long way. In terms of the pad, it didn't feel much different because at our gym, it's this old rusty gym, and you either bench on wood on a plank or a squishy bench. So the bench felt pretty normal, and I wasn't surprised by that. But it does feel nice to sink into that and get some support on your back. It was kind of funny when I was setting up for my bench, I got surprised by a ref coming behind me to move my fingers. And I was like, what's going on here?
He physically moved it for you?
He physically moved my fingers. And that was just a little bit of communication error there.
You're I thought that hand of God was it's going to be okay.
I know.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I looked up and it was Jesus. And what was in my pre-workout?
So that kind of flustered me a little bit for my opener, but we got there in the end. And yeah, so bench was actually, it showed up as best as it could with the low tank energy levels I had.
The thing with your team is telling you, and you obviously already know, but you do got to move forward because and just kind of leave the previous event behind. Because while you didn't, and you're right, let's acknowledge I didn't have the squat event I wanted, but the competitor might not have the bench event they want or the deadlift event. We saw, Emil Krastev murdering squat, bench, and based off his second attempt on deadlifts, all the way up to the second attempt on deadlifts, it appeared as though he's about to win. His second attempt flew. When he put in his third attempt, 10 kilos more, my phone was blowing up. Oh my gosh, he's done it. I was literally telling myself, looking at the total, he was going to be 905 or whatever it was going to be. And I was like, these other fellas looking at their seconds, they don't have 10 kilos. He does. And then he misses.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the door swings open and the other fella's like, well, game back on, huh? So the game can come back on at all different times.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like you'd seen it happen all week. And so seeing that stuff happen, you're able to have some hope that, okay, look, I just got to keep showing up and whatever happens, happens. And who knows what could happen.
It's literally lift by lift. Just take one at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in one battle.
Yeah, God bless. I want you to have more. We'll get into that in a sec, but sorry, go on.
But yeah, I mean, it can feel like the end of the world for a second there, like when you miss your, third squat or whatever. But yeah, lift by lift, you never know when someone else is going to miss, and you just got to keep making them, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's who goes 9 for 9 or as close to it, right?
And obviously easier said than done. Like,
Oh yeah.
we'll talk about the other events that's taken place, but when Russ had his third squat overturned, okay, he's like, all right, we keep it moving.
Yep.
And I do think Germans had more in the tank anyways. However, when you look back, it's like, damn, a miss is costly in a close battle.
Two.
I know, yeah. So you're like,
costly.
However, we've seen people like Penna miss, come back, rally, hit. Okay, we're back on track. Miss again and be like, still win.
Yep.
Penna, Turbo Tiff, certain people 6 for 9 and win world titles. It becomes sometimes it can be a bloodbath and it still works out. It's that's what makes sports, if I'm honest, when I'm commentating, sometimes it makes it even more entertaining when people miss, come back and rally. But so after the bench press, bench is over. Are you still not fully paying attention? Because here's another thing. Agata as a monster bench, but due to it being bench and the new rules in place, it could have swung back in your favor.
Yeah.
Leah.
The way it was Leah and Corolla.
There. That's exactly it. Corolla, when benches her thing, went 1 for 3. If that happened in this situation, you might have been right back in the mix. So after bench, are you peeking your head out, looking around? Or what's the situation?
It's like, of course, earlier in the week when people are missing benches, like it's very human to say, my competitor is at risk,
Yeah.
But I never want to catch myself relying on that. And so even though those thoughts were happening, I was just like, you have to be prepared that she's going to bench 160 and that it's going to be fine. And I needed to still have that thought going into deadlifts because I needed to know that she was still having a perfect day and not hope that she was going to miss something, because I think then I would have felt, that I didn't have to fight for my life, basically, is what it felt like in that time. But no, I wasn't having a look. I just assumed that she was making all of her lifts and heading into before deadlifts. I didn't feel my back too much, because I obviously hadn't started warming up yet. But Dom looks at me and he's like, well, you're probably going to have to deadlift 262. And I'm like, look, let's start warming up and we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Okay. If I hadn't grinded 225 twice.
How much do I need to win? He's like, 300 kilos. Things have not gotten to play. You're like, well, keep that information to yourself. Let's see what we have on the day.
Yeah.
Wow. So once you started warming up, and then we'll get to your deadlifts and one shake.
Yeah.
How were you feeling? Was it, because you were saying the warm-ups for squats didn't give any particular alarm bells. However, now you grinded on squats, bench, and at the end of the day, and cortisol levels make you feel more exhausted. You had to have been stressed. You're not human if you aren't. And that's where there is, it happens even when trying to lose weight. The more stressed you are, cortisol levels rise, the less water you let go of and the more you retain. So staying positive is more than just hitting lifts, but energy conservation, etc., and just like, keeping yourself intact. So how were you feeling leading into Deads?
Yeah, I was very aware of all of that, like my central nervous system, and I was trying to do like breathing exercises just to keep my heart rate down as much as possible, because I knew that I was running on fumes before bench. I knew that was happening. And as soon as we started warming up, my body was so sore, my back was sore, I was tired, I was feeling dizzy, and I was just like,
yeah, it's a very fast meet. Had to definitely keep up the electrolytes.
Yeah. And I had already downed like over 2 liters, and so I was really full, and it was hard to keep drinking. And so warm-ups, I was feeling like very, very, very spent. And the opener, we brought it down. My team tells me that I absolutely need 2 to defend, and I'm taking that as defend a podium spot, I guess. And then they tell me that I could use 3rd to attack. I don't know what that means, but I'm like, cool. I don't want details. That's enough for me.
Yeah, just put the number on. I'll go out and deadlift it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Also, when these meets are so fast, like it's hard to focus on anything else other than what you're just doing. So that's why, like with bench, like you're going out there, you're just trying to hit your lifts, and you're not even paying attention to like. There's no point in paying attention to someone else's numbers till basically. Really the last deadlift, It all comes down to that. But I don't know. It's just a lot when the meet's that fast, it's hard to do anything but just your lifts, right? Where as soon as you finish bench, you go back to the warm-up room, you're immediately deadlifting.
That's how it feels, huh?
Yeah.
Like, because watching it feels relatively quick, but I'm sure when you're in the moment, adrenaline's so high, it feels entirely different. Like certain things, a deadlift feels long when you're watching. It might feel like forever when you're grinding.
Yeah.
But in other circumstances, when we see you and then you come back and we see you again on the platform, I was wondering, just sometimes when you have high anxiety, every second feels like forever. But I've talked to some people who are like top end coaches, and they're trying to explain to me, a second goes by so quickly. But if this is a hot burning stove and I put your hand on that second's gonna feel like forever. If I say it's just a second, just hold it on there for 3 seconds. That's an extreme, but it just tells you how like when you have a minute before your big pull, that minute is gonna feel a whole lot different depending on the circumstances. So how did you guys feel? It's a gift and a curse that it's moving quickly, or what do you think?
I like a little bit more of a break.
Okay.
Because it's, you hit a big squat. I don't know, it's hard to have enough time to rest up for deadlifts, like you said, your back was tired sort of thing. Sheffield's a good pace. we get a nice little break. This one's very fast. Like there's no time to even like sit down and have a little snack between or something. You're just immediately changing shoes for your next lift going in it. So I was finding myself having to actually sit out in the hallway to try to cool off because I was just so hot in the warm-up room, and you don't want to be sweating too much. You want to replenish electrolytes and whatnot. So. It's definitely fast. It's hard to put out your best meet right when it's that fast also. Yeah. Granted, I had 10 people in my flight and you had 8, so yours was even faster. So I shouldn't be the one complaining.
Wow. The circumstances are also different. So you have a sizable lead. You just want the best possible you on the platform and hit your PRs. On the flip side, with Karlina, not necessarily the time to put out PRs, the same pace that's hitting you is hitting all of your opponents. And some people, you could I don't know if you're weaponizing, it's the proper way to word it, but it's also impacting your opponents. However, if you're falling behind, not having a great day, you need that time, and maybe they're ahead, they don't need as much. So the pace can swing, and momentum can swing maybe even greater when it's like that. I'm not sure. Or maybe you could be like, look, I didn't have a great squat day, but if I'm used to a brisk pace and she's not, maybe that works in my favor. I'm not sure. I guess it could swing.
Yeah, the fast pace worked out well for me last year. It was good.
That's
it just
fair.
is what it is. And
That's true.
It feels fast, but there's nothing that we can do about it. You just go out and do what you can do. Deadlifts for us, I was in a very different position. Usually the only person who goes after me is Jess, and this time I had a few people go after me, and that was a bit of a sort of mind game thing for me to get over whilst I'm deadlifting, feeling that I am like pulling everything that I have to give with lower numbers was different.
Did you at the time realize like my numbers have dipped? Here's one thing, okay, as a viewer, it makes it extremely interesting when you're not only in a position to possibly attack if Agata misses, but beneath you defending at the same time. And this is where people might not understand just how difficult it is for the national team coaches to have to play this game where it's like, all right, if the door swings open of opportunity, we will attack if Agata starts missing. And in a Emil Krastev situation where look like all types of momentum and then the wheels start falling off at the end unexpectedly. On the flip side, it blows up if you don't pay attention behind you. 93s are the same situation. And it'd be way too much for you to be paying attention to all of that in a lot. But God bless the national team coaches who were like, hold serve, take silver, defend the hell out of silver. Was this part of the game plan, or going in, did you even consider any of this, or?
I don't think so. I didn't consider it. But I really trust my team. I trust my coach. I trust his game day mind. It's something I don't understand at all. He'll try to explain some things to me about like the comps that had just gone past with numbers, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't understand. But he was there and Jason was there, and so I just knew that they would do the right thing, that they would make the right choices that maybe other people or coaches couldn't see. Like I trusted them that much. But I knew I was defending the entire time. I knew I was defending. After my second, I think my second felt like a third. And when it goes into my third, I don't even know how I was able to pull that because I just felt completely drained. And I think I just pulled on my family in that point. I was just looking at my family and I was like, I brought them all the way over here. You've got to do this one for them.
Yeah, I want to double back on that afterwards, but with your family being there, but because that was a moment. But your third, talk about freaking gutsy. And it is that where if you think that the gold medal's no longer there in place and you're just defending, for you to go out there and you're like exhausted. It's one thing to be, I've said this quote before, but I'll say it again. It's one thing to stay enthused and confident when it's the fourth quarter and you're ahead. It's another, let's see how you're reacting when the wheels fall off and you are not ahead. It is the fourth quarter. It's the last pull. And now they're pushing you out there. And don't lose heart, because you need every single kilo or you're falling behind even further. You think not gold is bad. How are you going to feel if you're from silver to bronze to God knows? Weird things can happen until it all plays out. Like you said, several people are going to pull after you. And you needed that, and that's where when I saw you immediately afterwards, I said, and you were obviously upset, and God bless you, you were vying for gold and by the end had silver. But now when you look back, if you see that third deadlift, the heart you showed and the grind you did to lock that out and be like, it stops here though, huh? I slipped one spot. I'm not slipping anymore, and I'll fight for my placing. Out of my cold dead hands do you take this one from me? That's sports.
Yeah.
That's sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you able to take some consolation with that, being like, in my worst day, I didn't pack my tent because it wasn't going my way?
Yeah, definitely. And I think I knew that in the moment too, but, the disappointment was pretty overwhelming. As the days have gone and I've spoken to people and had really long chats with my partner about it, with reflections. And I know that with what I was able to do, that I can be proud of what I put out and more proud of the mental side of it. And just being able to keep my head in the game and keep it level and defend that silver as hard as I could. So I am proud of that. You know, afterwards, there were a lot of girls really wanting to go to the World Games, and that's not lost to me that there are other really disappointed athletes out there who gave everything that they could as well. And so just having them around me too makes me realize, you know, it's not just about me. We're all here fighting, and we're all going through it.
Yeah, like your worst day is some of these other girls, they would have died for that. They like, well, Jess, 2-time world champ, loaded up for that. You know, loaded up a deadlift that, you know, just a kilo more than she's previously hit. So it wasn't a crazy, you know, Hail Mary. And yeah, sometimes it's that perspective. All right, where am I at right now? Well, it was a silver. That's at the World Championships. Yeah, it was still a gutsy performance. And you're going to be at World Games and have an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, like I said, the last 2 years has been a battle between us, and we've had a few battles, and this is just one. You know, at the moment I see that the score is 2-1, and I'm still in the lead.
Well, that's true. Yeah, we'll talk about the future in a second, but you're absolutely right. Amanda, let's ask you about the deadlifts. You got a big pull. You were super confident coming in. Let's talk about the day. Obviously, I'll let you tell the story, but I know Matt, Gary, and Joey told me the battle plan in terms of what you lock in for your second and then what you go for on your third. The battle plan was good.
Yeah.
And despite, well, she didn't have opposition on the day, but you had goals.
Yeah.
You had certain goals, and you've been chasing certain goals. So I'll let you tell it.
Yeah, basically we just wanted to secure best lifter by my second deadlift, because why not? It was a 260 pull, so 573. You know, honestly, it was a little bit stickier than it has been in the past, but it just wasn't my day exactly. Yeah, because at Sheffield I took similar jumps a couple of years ago, you know, around 260-ish, and then we jumped up to like 268.5, was fine, made it. It's not always there every battle, right? But yeah, I mean, hindsight, I could have took maybe some different jumps and being able to pull that 265 in the end. Didn't have that heart of a lion like Karlina on that third pull.
Well,
Got 245, by the way.
But, you know, I just didn't have any more juice in me for the day. Honestly, I was just happy with what I did in general. You know, didn't get gold in deadlift, but I still have the world record. Next time, man. Like, it doesn't make me. I mean, I'm a little bit upset about it, but I still have it.
It's difficult because you had a couple things you wanted, and to lock up best lifter on your second attempt, I think was a good idea.
Yeah.
But then it's a relatively big pull. So to your point, if you want to make a jump for your third, it's going to impact your third as well. So
Yeah.
it's kind of which one you want. If I'm honest, you already have a deadlift world record, but to be the first to win 3 best lifter awards,
Yeah.
I think for me anyways, that's bigger, because that's historically speaking, if we look back, who is the most dominant female lifter of our era, possibly of all time, and we'll get into all those kind of discussions.
Yeah.
That is a great little check mark for you to say, well, I think it's probably me, huh?
Yeah.
Because who else has done that?
Right? And I've been chasing after this one since 2022 and
Yeah.
haven't lived up to it, so I just had to at some point. But yeah, I mean, so I didn't have to go out there and take that third deadlift. I was honestly questioning it because I was just kind of gassed. But you know, it's not in me to not go out there, so I thought I would anyways. Just take a crack at it. Why not?
Yeah.
I had nothing to lose.
You're gonna fly all the way here for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my thoughts exactly. And people came for a show, so give it to them.
Right.
But you know, I thought maybe we could have spread the points even a little bit higher because they're a little bit vulnerable for today. But you know,
Could be.
We'll see. We'll see. You know, maybe they'll be battling amongst themselves, and then they'll forget. But
Could be.
yeah, you know. But Sheffield, I'm definitely gonna be out there wanting to break that world record deadlift. I have that in my sights. Just not breaking world records yesterday just helped me for that meet. I'm just coping with that. So.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
Matt, Joey did a good job getting you at least in position for best lifter. And to your point, we'll see what happens with the 84 pluses. I think you were saying before, for them to take best lifter from you is around 720 something range?
Yeah, maybe a little bit less, between 715, 720. But I also don't know what they're weighing in at, so that's a huge factor.
Well, that's also true.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm just basing things off Sheffield, so that's all I have to go off of.
Right. Right, fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, best of luck to them. I mean, I'm gonna be out there in the crowd cheering on. I mean, it's gonna be exciting. Last year it was crazy seeing, what was it, over 4 women squatting 600 pounds, like that, back to back to back to back.
And of course, Anita at Sheffield being the first woman to squat 300 kilos.
Yeah, holy
was
smokes. Crazy. Yeah, I can't even, I'm counting the plates, like, holy smokes.
Yeah. And Alexis coming over, I'm interested in, okay, we'll put a pin in that. I don't want to leave you guys yet. We'll talk about the rest of the worlds in a second. I'm very interested in that battle.
Yeah.
I'll get your guys' opinions on that. But Karlina, one of the moments for me is, and I'm freaking, when I seen it, I almost got emotional. And I swear to God, if I bring it up right now, I got to tread softly because I might get emotional here. Was that after everything you did, again, it's easy to keep your head up when things are going your way. It's another thing to watch somebody in a quote unquote losing effort and still keep fighting, still answer the bell, take the platform and scrap it out and let everybody see, like, this is how I finish my day. I finish my day on my shield. You know, this is how people expect me to go out. Not things start not going my way and I start mentally buckling. And even, it's not like anyone thinks, well, you mentally buckle so you don't come out. No, that's not going to happen. But you start mentally buckling, the cortisol levels rise, you can't hold firm, and you start missing because things start unraveling. And you could tell. You don't always call someone out, but you could tell when they come out, you're not going to get this. You've deep down, you'll fight a little, but you're not going to get it because deep down we know you've accepted you've lost. And to watch you come out and be like, I don't know where this is going to give me, but I'm gonna scrap this out. I'm going to fight for every single kilo. And I'm going out on my shield. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Was something. And then afterwards, right before the medal ceremony, I don't know how you felt, probably disappointed, and you're supposed to, because you are who you are. You are a champion. It's not okay. When people say, like, it's okay, for you initially, it's okay to be like, no, it's not. It's not. And that's a good thing. If you go back, I had a conversation with Penna, a couple of these champions anyways, and they went back to the hotel rooms, Russ, and they either cried in the warm-up room afterwards or cried in the hotel room. And somebody's like, you cried? And Penna goes, you didn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, you put your heart and
Absolutely.
soul in this.
Then there's Penna's a 2-time world champion, thank you. Russ is a 2-time world champion, thank you. They're like, maybe you should think about how bad you want it and what it means to you. Yeah, I cried. You didn't? Well, we're multiple-time world champions, so you say whatever you want about that. But Penna's like, it bothers me to the point where I got to get home. Russ was like, can't wait to catch a flight, get home, and get to work immediately. Yeah, it bothers me. Yeah, it hurt. It hurt. Take it what you want. If it didn't hurt for you, you got to think about that. Think of how hard it is to beat somebody when it hurts that bad. So anyways, I say all this to a couple days later get your feedback on that. Not only that, but also that moment. Was that your mother?
Yeah.
Okay. I legitimately almost got a little emotional when out of nowhere, she just stepped forward and almost to let you know she was still proud. Yeah. Like, it's okay. And she busted that out at the perfect time. If this was a movie and I saw it on your face, like, you're kind of like, frick, I don't know, how do my supporters that flew all the way here feel about what they just saw? And your mother said, like, essentially said it without saying it and gave you you're a fucking warrior, kid. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit. I'll let you tell the story in the moment, but that was a moment for me.
Yeah, look, I'm so grateful to have my family here with me, my mum, my 2 aunties, my best friend, my partner, and they were all out in that front area. And, we're Māori, and so it's in our culture to show support in that way, with a haka, a tautoko, which is support. And it is in a sense like a warrior, and she looked like a warrior, sending me those vibes. And I think when you talk about the crying, because my family was there, I felt I had to be strong for them, and so it's been delayed, and I think it'll come, but I think it'll come when I'm just by myself sometime, when I can just let it sink in, and I haven't felt that I've had to carry my family because I brought them all this way. I know they're proud of me. I know they are, like they show me, but yeah, it was hard to fully be in my disappointment because they were there.
Did she, okay, it was quiet, but there's a murmur. And did she not hit that at the right time, the haka, when she went, like all of a sudden, people just heard it. And she, full send, you don't hold back on that one, obviously, but everybody stopped. And I looked over at you, and that's your mother. You know, and I looked at your face, and I was like, and I could see it on your face. And you guys were like dead eye contact as she's giving it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you felt. I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
And do you think it was letting you know? Like, I'm proud anyways, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, we are criers, you know, I'm a crier, my mum's a crier, but I think in this moment she knew that she held her tears back too. I saw her before that. I went and saw her, and she talked to me and told me I'm a champ. I've been a champ. I'm amazing, that, you know, she's so proud of me, and neither of us cried, and we hugged, and it might be because if I started, I might not stop, maybe.
That's true. I mean, it's tough. It is what it is. But I'm sure, nevertheless, I mean, it's not just the act of crying, but the emotions you feel afterwards, it gives you that check. Like, okay, what are your thoughts on all of it now, a couple days removed, and you could look at it? Is it put in placement and you're at peace with it? Like, you obviously in prep, you had a fantastic prep. This wasn't something where, like, did I get complacent? The calls you and your teammate, or your teammate, as you were saying, they were the proper calls on the day. There's nothing you could have done.
Yeah, I do. It almost feels weird. Like, is it too soon to feel at peace with it? Because I do feel at peace with it. You know, I have to look at it for what it is. You know, it was a bad day, and everyone except Amanda.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Most people get them once or twice, and I haven't had one for a very long time. And actually, the last time I was second in anything was like my first year of powerlifting. So this is a very new experience for me. Yeah. But, you know, I know that I gave it everything that I had in the worst circumstances possible that I had, and I still came out with silver. I'm going to the World Games. I get another shot. And as I said before, like, we've battled before, and we'll battle again. And yeah, 2-1.
Right. And that's what makes it easier to be at peace, when you're like, is there something I could have done? I should have done. We did what we could. This is bound to happen. And also, you gave a perfect segue. It's something I was going to say, not only things that we saw earlier in the Worlds, but also to speak towards Amanda. So here's a conversation that people have been having. Who is the queen? Agatha now won the battle of the 69s, won the 76 kilo title. And Agatha is a very special talent, and, you know, God bless. If someone was going to say she's the queen because how difficult is it with the stretches in terms of in between weight classes? Okay. But on the flip side, if we look towards Amanda, 3 best lifters at the World Championships, how difficult is that? Well, historic. We've never seen it. And to your point, and we saw with Russ, dominance over that stretch of period from 2019, to just not have a bad day, or if you have one, win anyways. The odds of that happening, to always keep winning, this is where like you start seeing it's very, very difficult. And and people could somewhat take it for granted.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on all this when you hear, like, when you see people at battles heavily hyped and they win, and now there's talk of Agatha being the queen, but you yourself can say, well, look at, I'm winning best lifter, she's not.
Yeah.
I got a reign of dominance. What are your thoughts on that all?
I mean, I guess all I have to say is you just won your first world title. I've won 5.
Yeah, well,
You know, congrats. Like, she's definitely an impressive lifter. She's young. She's got a lot of potential. You know, I think we're going to see that battle come up with you guys again. I think you're going to be even more motivated next time. You know, when you're the underdog or whatever going into, you know, second place or whatever. I think it's even more motivating, right? It's hard when you're at the top and you got to keep yourself motivated somehow. That's why I keep going for best lifter, right? You know, all these years I didn't have to win by the amount I did to still, you know, win the 84s, but I still push for that best lifter, and I think that's what sets me apart, I guess. It's not just 5 world titles; it's overall best, you know, potentially 3 times now. So, and like, it's also hard to say, like, I've never gone up against Agatha as well. So, I don't know if she's made some claims like she's gonna come up or something, but. Got a tough one coming your way.
you're like, I ain't the one.
I don't lose. No.
Well, so this is what is exciting. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been waiting for a showdown for quite some time. Agatha, we had a interview with Agatha and Karlina on the platform directly afterwards. Haven't dropped it yet. Everybody, we're going to drop it today-ish. Hopefully I'll ask Ramsey. I looked up, wow, that's not Ramsey. But you look different, Ramsey. But hopefully it drops today. But Agatha she's a stitch all over the place with her plays. You remember, she changed her mind like 3 times.
In one pod.
In one pod. And it was like a 30-minute pod live on the platform. However, let's say she goes 84. Now, this is from 69 to 76, and now they're making memes. I shared the one meme. I don't know if you've seen it yet. You know the one where the Grim Reaper's knocking on doors?
Yeah.
And about to go to another door? One was 69, blood. 76, blood. And the next door's not open yet. The Reaper's knocking on it, and it says 84.
She should have went the other way. 63.
Turn around. It's not too late. It's not too late.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You don't want me to answer that door. That's what Amanda's saying. You don't want me to open that door.
No, probably not.
This is
you
like
can. I mean, it'll help bring eyes to that's one thing, like, that kind of sucks about, just so, you know, the last time there's been a lot of eyes on the 84s was 2019 with that big battle, and then after that it's just like, oh man, it's just going to win, like, it's not as interesting, like, it's hard for me hearing that, because then, you know, I'm still going out there doing everything I possibly can to try to put a show out, you know, for everyone to watch. But I mean, I can't help that no one's coming, and it's only, you know, they've been saying it's only a matter of time, but I'm still waiting for that time.
It's like you guys, I don't know if you watch Breaking Bad. They made memes about it, where he says that one line when he goes, I'm not the one who answers the door. I'm the one who comes to the door knocking. and I'll probably share that meme, but
Yeah.
You're probably thinking, no, that's me. I'm on the other side. I'm the Grim Reaper here.
Yeah.
That's not a situation you want. However, on the flip side, not the worst thing in the world, if some of these 76s move up, at least it's names in there.
Yeah.
It's people in there. People are excited. And obviously you're going to welcome it. You've been looking for it for a long time.
Yeah, because, like, just like in past years, like, if I ever said I was going down or something like that, then they're going to go the opposite, or the opposite meet if there's multiple meets. It's just like, I don't know, people just, so I appreciate people want to come and, you know, try a challenge. But, I mean, of course I'm going to have all confidence going into it, because why wouldn't I? But yeah, I mean, it's not gonna be easy, and I'm a baller.
I think it'll be crazy interesting to see. It's like when Conor McGregor first came into the UFC, and he's like, I'm gonna win 3 belts. Now he won 2, and he didn't get that 3rd. So I don't know if the same thing's gonna happen when Agatha starts talking about stuff like this. if she shows up, she'll be an underdog. But I think everybody's going to tune in. And everybody's going to be excited, even just to see how far can she push her total, even if she doesn't win.
Yeah, I mean, 600 at 69.
That's amazing.
Yes, that's very amazing. But only 613 at 76.
But did she stop early?
Did she?
I love it when Amanda's on her shit.
I don't know. I just don't, I could see like talking like up or down one class, but to do a third one before, you gotta have some time. You think you're just gonna come take down somebody who's done this for 5 years, who's had experience? No, I can't. I won't allow that.
Do you ever, if she doesn't, let's say she doesn't come up, and other 76s might come up, if only temporarily, whatever. Because there's World Games. You were saying maybe you don't want to cut twice in a row. So for World Games, you cut. Worlds, maybe you don't, but that's not necessarily a permanent situation.
Yeah, and I'll be like more like a Girl Scout knocking on your door with like cookies.
Yeah, like, hey, take it
Not
easy.
a grim reaper, like,
Invite me in. Don't.
I come bearing gifts.
Wait.
I come bearing gifts. I made a casserole. Let's talk.
That's my vibe.
Wait, so are you saying you're coming up?
Just for Worlds
For
next
Worlds,
year,
okay, and then
not to cut twice.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And other 76s might as well. And
Okay.
like other 76s might, because of the World Games situation, or just permanently.
That's
Things get shaken up.
because you guys would have placed higher than second place did. Yeah.
Well, full send Karlina on her A game. I believe in that 620, by the way.
Yeah, I do too.
And then
Yeah.
you not cutting at all. I know you got World Games ahead, so you're not trying to gain.
Yeah.
Like you got to cut later, but 620, 25, whatever. If Agatha does go full send, and it's like, no, I'm full on 84, and let's say she was 620 range-ish, and she's into the 630 range, now you'll be like, wow, maybe you at least got to be honest. It's got to be.
Yeah. Like I'm like, I don't know. That's still a little far off.
I freaking love I love it. You look at me like, okay. You humored me. You gave all right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to come for show, like, yeah, it'd be fun. I mean, at least more eyes. Sorry. I love you to death.
It'll just be fun.
Yes. This is just the competitor in me talking.
Well, I mean, you all have to be. You all have to be the competitor and fully believe in yourself. You had mentioned one thing, though. You were saying it's like, has it somewhat crossed your mind? You briefly just touched on moving down to 76. Has that, I mean, if they come up to 84, certainly you're not going to be like, yeah, sure, take my freaking crown while I'm not there. But
yeah, that's what would happen.
Right. And you'd be like, well,
what the heck, man, my diet.
I came down for you, you leave. It's like, what are we doing here? But have you waited so long to a point where you're like, look, I'm going to pull myself in Agatha. I'm going to pull myself in Evie. Or, Tim, at this point, frick, you name it. There's so many lifters doing it. Have you thought to yourself, frick, I'm starting to get a little anxious here where I'm getting sick of waiting for someone to emerge as an 84 or move up?
Yeah, I don't know if that time's going to come until I retire.
So that's where are you like, I think I might move to 76 at some point?
I think in terms of the Sheffield scoring, that could help me if I did that. I don't know how it would go my way. With that, I've already cut like over 5 kilo and I didn't have an effect on the total, so I don't know how doing more than that would. It's something I've thought about it. It's about as far as I got.
It would be, look at everybody go crazy if you did. But it would take 8 kilos is not what is that? It's like 17 pounds.
Yeah.
You would be shredded.
Yeah, just like
stage ready.
Like to give some perspective, like I mean, if I wasn't powerlifting, I probably would weigh like 165 and be pretty lean. So I don't know. Like I've always been like around, like powerlifting around this range. Like my legs weigh a lot each. Like it's very hard.
My legs weigh. That's one Evie Corrigan. There's another Evie Corrigan.
Yeah, yeah, she's jacked, man. She's shredded.
She's shredded.
Yeah.
Well, but at the very least, when ladies yeah, Evie's extremely lean. Agatha got super duper lean for 69.
It's hard to maintain that, yeah.
Very difficult. But you've at least seen what some people have done, the low body fat they got to with, like, scientifically, you know, you get yourself whether it's Kedrick or whoever the heck behind, that's who Evie got is. That's why I throw him out there.
Yeah.
But if you, maybe it's kicked around in your head, like, what happens? What does it look like? If I do that, get that shredded, could I make 76? Can I retain strength? Like, Evie now has got numbers rivaling her 57 kilo numbers.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's crazy. And imagine, with everything you've done, 5 world titles, 3 best lifters, imagine you pop up at Sheffield and you take Sheffield and be like, well,
Please no.
I felt a kick. I wasn't sure if that was by accident or but I don't know. I'm throwing this out there, but I think everybody go bonkers. But obviously that is easier said than done. An absolutely insane ask.
Yeah, it's something I'd have to decide soon. Just so I have more time to.
After the banquet. Let have fun at the banquet. Let your hair down.
Yes. Yeah, because like that's always like been a concern of mine. Like, cause like I'm like mentally that would be tough for me to have numbers go down. But look at what happened with Agatha and Evie.
Win Sheffield.
And Agatha's numbers went up crazy enough. On the flip side, but they went further up when she went back to 76. Like the thing is, your numbers might go down, but the moment you have would be unmatched. To win Sheffield, Gustav wins Sheffield, Agatha wins Sheffield, and people like they are the king and queen. And in terms of your resume, it'd be the only thing left.
Yeah, like not gonna lie, like the first Sheffield, like, I was out there, I pulled huge deadlift, 268 and a half, placed 4th. Like that afterwards, I was crying in the back.
Really? See? Because you're a tiger.
Yeah, because like I wanted a podium.
Right.
So I know that feeling. Yeah. So like to question if like do you cry or not? I guess in that instance, yes. It hurts. It hurts. It feels like you lost, right? Gave it all. You're all. Yeah, you're just motivated more than ever to get back. And I think the only way for me to get back to that spot is to go down, because unless I can, we'll see this off season.
Unless they come up, that's where it's difficult. And then to your point, you don't have a lot of. If you're gonna go down, you gotta move quick.
I do, yeah.
But people are humming and hawing about coming up, and you're like, well, frick, I don't want to deplete myself, come down, and then come back up, and then so.
Yeah, and especially with the World Games next year.
Yeah.
And that's another checkbox you could obviously have. So.
Yeah,
it's all on the table for you at least. These are good options to have, but.
Yeah, I mean, now I kind of, since you're talking about coming up for Worlds, I kind of want to stay.
Agatha, her, who else? Who knows what happens in the future? Who else is coming up?
But yeah. Also, not dieting sounds nice.
Dieting is not fun.
No, it's not.
But the bag at Sheffield.
Yeah, that's true.
You could buy a lot of snacks afterwards to catch up. Or you know what I mean? I don't know.
It is nice. There's for each individual lift, I can still go for squat, deadlift, total. So there's chips there. It's pretty easy to do.
Just promise me this, like Agatha did when she decided she's dropping. Come on, king of the list.
Okay, and make it.
All right.
Okay.
My girl.
No problem,
Thank you. All right, let's take a look at the Worlds as a whole and your guys' impressions of it. First thing, I had compared you to Russ in terms of your reign. You both won in 2019. You claimed your world title, both from the U.S., both extremely confident. The way you guys carry yourselves. And then leading all the way up to here, your reign continues. His came at an end, and I say his reign, he wasn't winning. Delaney won. I mean, as posting up as the number 1 ranked, 83, because Delaney was the legitimate for sure world champion. Everybody loves Delaney, and he showed up, and you got to put respect on that. But as the ranked number 1, because he's posting up those big totals, came in. So his reign in terms of his winning streak came to an end. We saw the reception that occurred in terms of, and I think it was just that. He wasn't the reigning world champion, so it wasn't like Germans beat him, but he closed off an incredible winning streak that is so difficult to have in powerlifting. To never have an off day, or if having an off day, you still find a way and win somehow. You're in a very similar proposition. When you watched it happen to Russ, in the reception, and I was saying, I don't think it was an indictment on Russ. It's more how unexpected and exciting is it when an underdog shows up and wins. And Russ said ahead of time, when I finally lose, they'll be dancing in the streets because, like, you know, exactly at the Yankees lost. Do you feel this kind of thing towards yourself? Like, when you show up, you're like, look, if somebody pulls a crazy upset on me and I have a bad day, everybody will be like, did you see what happened? And everyone, the excitement. What were your thoughts when you watched that? Or do you think, no, there's other intangibles that play with what happened there?
The 83s are just a lot more tight. I mean, it's the same with you with 76s. Like, it's whoever has their day, right? I don't know. Like, I've been in that battle in 2019, and I didn't feel like I was the favored one going into it, right? I don't know. I felt like I wasn't the one that was wanted to win that one. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be that day for me when someone comes. And I mean, maybe it's when I retire, when I decide I've won enough world titles, like I'm content. I want a little break or something like that. But yeah, I mean, as for Russ, like, and you also, like, you guys are going to be more hungry than ever just to get back to training to win that spot back and earn it back. Honestly, like I said, it's more motivating being second rather than first. You have something to work for, right? Mm. It's hard to not stay content, right? But yeah, guys will be back. Not even worried about it. It's honestly a coin toss for the day. Who's making the lifts, right? Making it count. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was just waiting again for that day. I don't know.
I know when you're in the pressure cooker, and maybe I'll get your opinion on this, Karlina, because you've been in that pressure cooker almost every single time we've seen you now.
Yeah, it's hard. That's tough.
You never have an easy one. So while you're in the midst of it, what does it feel, the lead in, the hype, the day of, walking in there, the anxiety, you feel, holy shit, you look around the room, it's all killers.
Yeah.
All killers. And hearing it, I mean, it's weird because in the moment, and it's super anxious, it's what makes you great, it's what makes moments, and you'll hear Amanda like, yeah, I long for that. But when you're in it, you might be like, I wish, like Penna says, I wish I could reign easy. And I shouldn't
Something
say easy.
in between.
Yeah, easy's not the word I should use, by the way. But Penna's like, I wish I was dominant, like Mike Tyson in his prime, just rolling over people, like Amanda. But then on the flip side, I told Penna, like, yeah, but you've had so many crazy moments. Even when you lose, that means when you came back and won again, it was like just so much more dramatic. Yeah. And he's like, it's grass is always greener on the other side.
It is nice coasting, but again, you don't get the same kind of viewership.
Right. Because you think, I know how this movie ends.
Yes.
I don't need to stick around for the end of the movie.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully next year there's a lot of other casts of characters in your next movie.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe 84s will get on Eurosport.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Because it seems like it might be. I would love for this. I've been so jealous over the last couple of years.
We'll see what Agatha says. But what's your opinion on, like, the stress of it all? How stressful does it actually get? And then afterwards.
Yeah, this year was quite different. Like I said on the pod straight after our competition night. The last couple of years with this battle that we've been having, I've always felt that I was objectively and subjectively the strongest always, and that even on my bad days, I was still the strongest one. But heading into this year was very different. It's that we are as strong as each other at this point, and it's going to be like who just shows up. Mm-hmm. And usually I'm pretty good at showing up, but then with that, knowing that that you're close with your competitor, comes that feeling of threat. And that's quite different to just feeling like you are competing. You know, you're competing, but I know I'm stronger. And I know that even if I don't do great, like I'm still stronger. That's you feel very confident in that position, and it's still pressure because anything can happen.
Yeah.
But this type of pressure that I've been feeling before this Worlds was very different. It was, you know, I have to do this. I have to be perfect. There's no other way to win. I cannot rely on anything else, and so there was a lot of pressure that I was feeling, and it was very different, you know. So that stress was real, feeling that stress. I don't know if it had anything to do with the day. I'm really not sure because I had to be very purposeful with my mental game, and not so much positive thinking, but just sort of reinforcement of what I know is my ability. But yeah, it was very stressful.
Yeah, and I read it first in Russ's caption. I'm not sure if he took the quote from someone else, but he said, "This type of pressure is a blessing." And sometimes we got to remind ourselves, you feel that because you're in a moment. And as time passes, you'll look back, and you'll have several of these moments, but it usually means something significant might be about to happen. And I know it's a mixed bag. It's the duality. While you're in the moment, you feel stressed, you feel anxiety, and all the rest of it, and because you care. On the flip side, when you're in other moments, and Amanda's like, I kind of want that. I want to feel the pressure. Let me feel it again. Let me see. Yeah. I long for those. It's such a weird thing to talk about. Only at the very tippy top end are you guys going to fully understand.
And people would die to be in our spots right now.
Yeah.
There's so many people that, you know, can't be. So, I mean, we just try to, I don't know, just be grateful. And every time we get to show up at these, you know, meets and, you know, don't take it for granted. Because that's the other thing also, like, do it while you can. There's not always going to be the next meet. That's my perspective.
It's crazy because, I've been doing this for a hot minute, and I've seen different people cycle in and cycle out. I don't think there's not a single world champion from 2016, my first year commentating, that's the world champion now.
Yeah.
It all comes to an end at some point. That's what makes these moments. I was talking to Rory Lynch. We were at Silent Worker in France, and I remember feeling the moment, feeling it, and everyone's there. We had international people there, from Germans to a bunch of people there. Obviously, all the French were there. Such a beautiful moment. We're in Paris, and I'm like, damn. I looked at Rory. I'm like, damn, man. Wouldn't it be beautiful if this day, these moments just lasted forever, man? This was our everyday, and he told me, you think you want that, but you don't. The reason why it's so beautiful and that you're fully appreciating it right now, because you know it's going to come to an end.
Yeah.
And that's why you're not taking it for granted, and it's a beautiful moment. And it is the exact same thing right now for everything you guys are doing. You know in your heart of hearts, tomorrow's not promised.
Yep.
That's why today is so beautiful right now. So to your point, yeah, I mean, it's a whole nother bag if it just stretches on forever.
Yeah. I mean, I think to some capacity, I'll probably forever powerlift. My first national meet I did in 2017, there's a 90-year-old woman out there squatting the bar.
Oh, wow.
That's goals.
Yeah.
But to be at this level, obviously at some point, maybe we'll be at Masters World someday, looking back. Yeah, remember when we were doing when we were in Lithuania or whatever? I don't know.
You'll be in the 84s, Master 4, and you hear Agatha or Karlina's moving up, and you're like, over my dead body. You're like, bitch, I'll see you on the platform. This isn't over.
Oh my gosh, I hope so. That'd be awesome.
I will commentate that Master Worlds if it happens.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I'll be dead, actually. Let's be honest. I'll be dead by then, but that's fine. But yeah, no, to a certain degree. Well, you know what? Even watching this World Championships, there were several people in their 40s still in the A
open.
session.
Yeah.
In the open, in the A session.
Yeah.
Tony Cliff is 40 years old. He just now lost his title. And he's up there, and we've seen some people hang on.
Tammy,
so who knows?
She did amazing.
Yeah.
69.
Yeah, there's a few. There's a lady who was 48 from Brazil in
Had that
Group A.
third deadlift.
And my God, she missed her second attempt.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And
Wow.
and it was like, we're all good here, huh? And she came out for a third, and like, oh my God, you again. She's, I say this respectfully, almost half a century old. Got nowhere with her second attempt. I mean, it looked hurt.
It looked like she was in pain and she was not going to come back out.
And when she came back out, as the commentator, I'm like, this is probably ill-advised. I don't know if. And then I was like, oh my God.
Just kept growing.
Oh my God. Right to the top. Afterwards,
Yeah.
it was like she won the World Championships.
Yeah.
Still having these moments. I seen her in the back. I'm like, what the heck? Hard to call.
Just pulled the animal out of herself.
Yeah. What are some of the moments for you guys so far at this World Championships? Doesn't necessarily have to be on the platform. Could be in conversations, bumping into people, or it could be on the platform. I could go first if you guys want to think.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, don't know.
Let me order off the menu
Yes.
first. You guys
Yeah,
peruse the menu for a minute.
Yes.
And you can order off the menu if you got to. I don't know. After I saw the 66s, I said, and I stick to it, that was the greatest battle I had ever commentated. And then before I was commentating, I know all the battles. I don't think, in terms of when the IPF went Classic / Raw at Worlds, that was the greatest battle I'd ever seen. Yes, better than Jurens versus Russ. I'd put Jurens upsetting Russ as possibly the greatest upset. Maybe not the greatest upset in terms of overcoming the odds. I'm trying to think over my head. We don't have odds in powerlifting, so it's kind of an odd conversation. You establish who's your favorite, and then if the underdog wins, it's automatically an upset win, just so everyone knows how upsets work. If you have an underdog, it doesn't matter if it's the slightest of underdogs. If the underdog wins, it's called an upset win because he or she upset the odds. Okay,
Yeah.
so some people like, Jurens was the underdog, but it wasn't an upset win. I don't think you follow sports too often.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's
I saw
not
that
how it
post,
works.
yeah.
But anyways, in terms of was it the greatest upset? Maybe not in the way we don't have odds to measure, but maybe not in the same fashion of the odds were so in Russ's favor. I mean, greatest upset is in hype, moment. My God, it was an underdog who won, and I don't think I could think of an underdog winning that was more impactful for so many reasons. How big Russ is as an icon and figure within powerlifting. His resume, 2-time world champion, and more than that, the number 1 ranked 83 for the past 5 years. Don't gotta tell you how hard it is. You were talking about how difficult it is to just never have a bad day for all those years, to never lose. So for Jurens, who's 36, has a full-time job, stressful, married with a kid, I mean, for him to come in, it was insane. It was a moment. Russ himself was like, I could step back and appreciate the moment that was in terms of a sports moment. He's like, it's not lost on me. If it happened to me, so like I'm hurt, but I could still see, holy smokes, that was wild.
Yeah.
And everybody, I've never felt a reaction like that. That was probably the greatest upset in that sense. But in terms of the greatest battle, 66 is a complete podium, 707.5, so close to the world record, 710. So they're just 2.5 kilos away from the world record. All 3 of them?
Yeah. And it was
All 3 of them?
body weight
Crazy.
too, right? Yeah.
Body weight separated.
Wow.
Those 3 men, I had them on the podcast, can look at each other and be like, you weren't stronger than me, and you weren't stronger than me, and I wasn't stronger than you. We just lost. It was body weight. We got to do this again.
Yeah.
It was wild. So anyways, those are 2 huge moments for me. In terms of like other moments, the lady you had said with Brazil, your mother obviously as well. Like there's been some moments that I won't forget. And also one night, all of us were outside this restaurant, and the restaurant closed down, and we stayed up till daylight, and there's like 15 of us chilling on the patio, just hanging out, and I was like, this is another moment. But there's plenty of those that float around.
Yeah, I need to get to these championships earlier because like I just got here Wednesday night, so I haven't even really been able to soak in like many of these moments. I've been watching the live stream because like I couldn't go watch. You know, it's not good to be out and about the night before you meet to watch your session, which I was really sad about. Yeah. So I'm watching on my phone, like yelling, like let's go. Yeah, but I was able to watch the 69s, and that was fun to watch. It was a battle.
It was
Came down, you know, the
very last pull.
Yeah.
It was interesting. That's another one. That's another rivalry that's not sorted.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Leah's beat her. She's beat Leah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a toss-up. It also depends on, like, what are the calls like for the day? Like you said, like, Karlina, like, 1 out of 3 for bench.
Right.
Right? I mean, that was cool seeing Leah go out there to try to attempt for the win on the pull. Like, I love seeing that stuff. Yeah. But,
and it's 20/20 hindsight. A lot of people are saying, like, if Leah didn't make a big jump on her second attempt and she made a smaller jump and got some extra kilos towards her total, that would have forced the hand of Team Italy at the end for what they needed, and also
like going like 225 instead of 230. Yeah,
lowered Leah's final deadlift she would have needed. Obviously, like I don't have all of Leah's training numbers or whatever, so if they're like, no, we thought she was legitimately good for whatever the heck,
I even tossed out the idea like skip the second, just pull your like go straight to 240 from 220, but I'm sure they wanted to secure silver.
I do know that the French team highly coveted going to World Games. So with Penna, some people were also wondering, you pulled a number on your second attempt that guaranteed the podium, but taxed you. And then you pulled for gold, only 2.5 kilos up, but you were already severely taxed. So what if you pulled that 287.5 on your second when you were fresher, went for the gold? You miss, you're off podium. The thing is, we're looking from the outside in, and Team France highly coveted secure World Games, then go for the win, etc. So, and I'm not sure in terms of Leah, for sure on the outside looking in now, especially you look back and be like, whatever she was doing in training, whatever the plans was, something in between the first and the second would have secured extra kilos, and then she wouldn't have had to deadlift as much and all the rest of it. But I'm not entirely sure. I'm not talking to the coaching staff. What was the game plan and what videos were you looking at and what did you think she had on the day, et cetera?
I mean, there's a reason for everything, right? Yeah, you just got to trust your people you have in the back, right? I'm just like, take the reins. I don't care. Put the number on. What you think? Like, what do you think? I don't know.
Right. And Leah will be back. That's a rivalry. That's not over yet.
No, and she has a lot of room to keep filling up that class, too. She's got to eat.
Well, both of them do. Hypothetically, I asked Gara, are you staying 69? And she's like, yeah, the cut to 63 is very difficult.
I thought you were going to say 76 for a second.
Okay, well.
She's looking too good, actually. Like, you stay there, Karla. You should fill that out. She looks good there.
She looks phenomenal. And she's a two-division world champion, several-time world champion, equipment, world games, etc. So her resume is.
Talk about a decorated lifter.
Yeah, holy smokes.
Yeah.
And slightly unheralded. I think like she speaks English, but not super duper fluent. So having interviews with her, usually we have her husband with us. We were gonna do this. I'll bring her onto the podcast, and her husband will be there. It's difficult though, because if it's multiple people and you have an interpreter at times, every now and then it's a whole different dynamic. But anyway, she's getting every single year getting better and better. I remember 2019 when I first saw her and she first won, seeing her in the lobby and be like, yo, holy smokes, hats off to you. That was phenomenal, blah, blah, blah. I could tell by the expression on her face, she had no idea what I was saying. She was smiling like, okay, I sense some positive energy, so thank you. But now, interviewing her for the IPF, and it was still like, we can get there. She'll stop every now and then, ask her husband here and there, but we can get there. But anyways, all this to say, if she was in a position where she was completely fluent with it, it could come on podcast completely fluent, drop the sound bites, etc. With her resume, I think it would be a whole nother level of the way we speak about her. Because to a large extent, she did 63, 69, and kind of like Agatha.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing those memes or nothing.
That's true.
But also in terms of Leah, so Carola is relatively firm in where she's at. And Leah said she actually is thinking she might go down to 63, and it's not just after this Worlds. She always was. The plan wasn't really like, I'm going to bulk up, fill out 69, whatever. It was always like an interim, let's see what happens.
Was it for also like Sheffield? Because the
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Sheffield, and then after Sheffield, it's, wow, I mean, we have to have this showdown. And there's always a reason.
Yeah. I mean, she's like 65 kilo weight in it. So, I mean, she's just a sauna session away.
Right.
63.
Right.
Yeah.
So she was always kind of goaded into it by all these big goals, and now she's never going to actually be like, for instance, a 72 cutting down a 69 like a top end.
Yep.
Like a 69 dominant 69 probably in the future would. So everyone's kind of, I don't know, I feel like this is like one of those parties where at the end this Worlds is everyone's shaking hands and kind of like, when will I see you again? It's like, well, you might not. I don't know what weight class I'll be in.
Yeah.
Especially on the women's side.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice they're only 6 kilo apart, so.
Well, that's a fact.
Yeah, because.
That's a fact. It's higher percentage of their body weight, but.
That's true.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. What are you thinking there, Karlina? Do you have any moments? I might have chewed them up with your mother was amazing, but.
No, look, lots of moments. I think this World has been incredible. You know, every single class battle has been really exciting to watch. You know, my partner, he's here with me. He doesn't really follow the sport. He follows me, but he's been watching and really enjoying them, and he's been enjoying the live pods and getting to know the personalities of all of the stars, and it's really cool. But I think, you know, a moment outside of the battles for me was on the first day that we got here and we were training, and, you know, of everything that's been great about this Worlds, one thing that hasn't been is the training area. And so we had to share, like quite a lot of us had to share, but that was me, Leah, Megan Scanlon, you know, so we trained together, we squatted together. That was really, really cool. And I had Kavishi, who was in the under 52B group. She's one of my friends and in my trains at my our gym. And this was her first Worlds. And so we're training together with these world champions, and that's her first training session.
She's probably, holy shit, didn't expect this to happen.
Exactly. And so I know how I felt when I first met you guys. And so I know that she was feeling that way. And I was still feeling that way because I've never trained with Leah and Megan Scanlon. So that was really, really cool to have that session with them. Yeah,
that's like freaking the Beatles doing a small pub, and they're like, look at our drummer's not here. Do you want to jump in?
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Oh, yeah. I mean, that's crazy for someone just to walk in and be like, I had a training session with, you know, Leah Bavel, Megan Scanlon, and Karlina.
I see Karlina all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty crazy. I actually had a bench session with Alexis Jones.
Whoa, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
You were benching with.
Yo, what you sorry? Yo. You're like, yo, you lift? But I held in. She wasn't going top end. God bless. I was happy for that.
It was her last taper day.
That's right. You're Ryan. It was a deload. Relax, man. But all I'm saying is, if she pulls off something big on bench press, I feel like I deserve some credit there.
Yeah, it was the handoff.
100%. We talked about some things, but yeah, I like those moments that you can only have at Worlds. It's one thing to do the national level, domestic level, but I think some of these people coming over from USAPL are like, well, I know because they've told me as well. It's different when you go to Worlds and people from all over the world are there with all different backgrounds, all different cultures. Like, again, not to beat this one to death, but like your mother doing that. And that's only going to happen when you mesh all these cultures together.
Yeah.
That's the only way. And that's why the World Championships is so special, and it is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, first off, ladies, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. It's like, I always freaking appreciate when you guys do this. You never say no. when I ask, it's like, it's always going to, like, I every single time appreciate when you guys give your time and hop on here and be fully transparent and open up. And it's not freaking easy to hop on here and be that vulnerable and give you time like this. So I appreciate.
Well, we always love conversation with you. You're great.
Well, thank
You're
you.
great.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amin. It's been freaking years that me and you've been doing this.
Oh, yeah.
And we've done quite a few in the past couple of years as well, and I appreciate. I'll leave you guys with the last word that maybe you want to give before we sign off.
Big shout out to all the fans out there. Seriously, this has been a lot of fun, and you guys keep us going. And yeah, we just really appreciate it. And everybody who came in person too. I know it's a long journey here, and to see your faces out in the crowd really helps me today. But yeah, and obviously all my friends, family supporting. Yeah, we did another one.
Yeah, I want to echo that. The people showing up, this day and age, people show up just to watch, not just to compete. Whereas previously, the only people in the crowd were people who were competing. That's not the case anymore.
No, yeah. I mean, I really appreciate that. And also, like, the 84 women's also had the men's to stack with it, so I think that also helped.
Yeah. Wow.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, a big thank you to everyone, to all the volunteers, everyone running this thing, the sponsors, our families, our friends who have dealt with us the last 3 months preparing and being very selfish and allowing us to throw our whole entire lives into this World Championship. And yeah, gosh, it's one loss, my first of not many at all. And it's not over, and then we still have a couple of battles to settle this, and I really look forward to the day that we both get to put our 100% out there and show just how much we can push that 76 total.
World Games.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to end it. Thank you, ladies, and for everybody watching, thank you for tuning in. And we've got tons of good reception on these live shows. Ramsey hit me up and I was like, okay, you throw it together, I'll show up and do my thing. And holy smokes, thank you, Ramsey. You were right, man. You were right. And we do have some post-competition interviews. I hate the word interview because that's not really what we do. Discussions. One of them right on the platform with Karlina and Agatha. We're going to drop that. It's about a half hour long. It's a good one. That's a good one. Also did it with Turbo Tiff, got Waskar. Sometimes some people had flights and we couldn't get them here, but we got some people on the platform, so it wasn't live, but it's there. We have some good questions. We will drop that. Make sure you pay attention. You don't want to miss them because they give some sneak peeks into what's going to happen in the future, and they also give their thoughts into what happened at the World Championships. But thank you for tuning in as per usual, and until next time. Six-pack lap it at. 6 up. And we are out.